Hey everybody, Raven here, and in today's video we have a $500 face value bag of high quality 90% mixed silver that I got from the coin shop that I'm working at, and I'm hoping that we find some good stuff in here. You just never know what's going to happen. These are completely random. My boss just dumped a whole bunch of 90% that he got in, and hopefully he missed a thing or two. We're going to get this bad boy open and see the initial pile. Alright, so here we go. We've broken the seal. Let's get this out. I am curious as to what it'll be. There's always a great mix of stuff. And watch this. This will be an epic pile like normal. Holy cow, I'm dropping stuff. A couple quarters on the ground there. But as you can see how nice and shiny and beautiful this is, it is making a massive pile on my desk here. And what I'm going to do is organize this into the different denominations, half dollars, quarters, dimes, and then we'll go through some stuff here. It'll take me a little time, of course, because this pile is massive. I mean, look at that. Is that not epic or what? Matter of fact, it's such a giant pile, and the camera's not taking every last bit in, but that is really cool. Alright, I'm going to get this set, like I said, organized. I'll be back soon. Ravenhawk Coins, stay tuned. Alright everybody, so I've gotten through a majority of the half dollars, and along the way we've had some pretty cool little finds. I want to just share with you a couple items, something that I call the little oddballs and something that are kind of cool. So I'm going to turn on the scope, and one of the cool things I found is an SLQ from 1928. We'll get that in there and focus this out. But I was surprised to find an SLQ because we don't take in a lot of Standing Liberty quarters during the week through the junk silver at the shop. But this one is a pretty cool one, 1928, and not too bad, full date, nice condition. Somehow a 40%er, 1969, got snuck into the 90% bin, so I'm going to have to keep that aside to keep it pure. I found a really pretty toned Mercury dime, and that's a 39. Really nice rainbow toning going on the obverse and the reverse, so that was pretty cool. Found a couple quarters that were interesting. This 1954, it has some really cool toning, and it's a Denver. It had a buddy with it from 1955. I think these two came in together, but this has really good rainbow toning on it. I'll keep these aside and let my boss figure out what he wants to do with them. That's a Philly, not too shabby. Then I found a proof Benji in the mix, 1960. Unfortunately, he's seen a lot of wear, so he's going to stay in the junk bin, but it was cool to see the proof. The reverse has a little bit of cameo to it, as you can see. But somebody has had this out quite a bit, as you can see. And sorry about my fingers getting in the way there. Pretty cool. Then the last, what I call interesting oddball, is we got an 82 proof Washington 250th anniversary silver half dollar. Now it's a 90%er, so it makes sense that it could be in there. But very cool. So those are the oddballs and the cool finds so far. We're going to see what else we get as I start stacking up the quarters and the dimes. There's still a lot to go, as you guys can see right in front of me. This is still all quarters, dimes, and a majority, though, the biggest pile is actually the Walking Liberty half dollars, And it's kind of nice to have a good array of half dollars here. We got the Walking Libs, the Kennedys, and the Benjis here. I might find a couple more, you just never know. And then we'll start going through them, hopefully find a couple key dates or something cool. But either way, we've already found some neat stuff. Ravenhawk Coins, stay tuned. All right, everybody, so it was quite a task, but we got through, well, I got through stacking everything up without really looking at a lot of what was going on because, I want to make this a very thorough search, so I wanted to get everything in order first. We have the most in Walking Liberty halves, followed by the Kennedys, and then the Franklins are the least amount of halves. We got a nice stack of quarters here, Rosie dimes, and Merc dimes. Not really expecting to find too much in the Rosies except maybe some cool toned ones or whatnot. Matter of fact, I got a couple items set aside to show under the scope as things that kind of caught my eye as we were going through. Here's the first one, a beautiful toned 1964 Rosie. You can see the reverse has an interesting pattern to it there. Very cool little find. Another beautifully toned Rosie. I think these all came out of the same book. It's a 1951. And like I was saying, with the Roosevelt dimes, most of them are pretty common whenever you're looking at them. I think there might be maybe one or two at the most key dates in Rosies. Really what you're looking for is airs or anything cool like these really cool toned ones. And I will set these aside for when I take it back to the shop. Right there, 1960. Nice crescent moon toning going on there. The reverse is pretty nice in itself. And then I found one more SLQ, but surprisingly, this one is dateless, but it's got a mint mark in the front. It's a Denver. And it looks like it's a 20. From what I can see on this scope here, it could be a 27 or a 17. If it was a 17, it'd be a type 2 because the star is below the bird. But either way, pretty cool. And sometimes I get that information a little off, but hey, what do you do, right? Alright, so let's look through some of these to see if we got anything cool in the way of the Merc dimes. I'll just start with this random first pile here. Hopefully we find something cool. And what I will do is come back every once in a while and show you guys if I found anything or not. Right here we have a 1936 Philly, so that's just a plain, but still a nice date. 36 is cool, especially if it would have had a mint mark. 1941, and what we're going to be looking at on the Mercs is at the 42s. You're looking for that 42 over 41. If you get really lucky, that's something that brings a pretty penny, so to speak. We got a 1943 Denver. Hoping to find even something maybe with some full split bands or something. You just never know what's in here because these are all what they would call full rim Mercuries. There's no really bad ones in there, but they're also, some of them have a good amount of wear and tear from over the years. But we're going to look through this and hopefully find some cool stuff. Like I said, it'd be really epic to find a 42 over 41. And those can be either Denver or Philly from what I remember. If I'm wrong, it's no matter what, it's in 41, you know. Alright, here we have a 1939. And that looks to be a Philly. We'll look at a couple more and then I will break away while looking through Merc dimes, and hopefully if I find something, I'll come back and let you know. I'll give you little updates along the way because this is a lot of fun either way, looking through a bunch of really cool old coins and just thinking about what the history that these have all seen. You know, all these ones from the 40s, from World War II and forward, the amount of history that's happened in that amount of time is epic. We got a 1928 Philly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to keep on searching and hopefully I find something good. Ravenhawk Coins, stay tuned. All right, everybody, so we've gotten through the Mercury dimes and we have a couple cool things that we found in the pile. No key dates, but some pretty interesting stuff, like a really nice toned 1944. This is a little bit worn, but I like the toning and the patina and the life that this little coin has led, so I thought that was kind of neat and pulled it aside. We also have a 1928 that has some nice toning. Now the camera on the scope doesn't always do it that much justice, but it is a really nice looking coin, and it is from 28, so it's seen quite a bit of life. We have a 1919, which was the oldest Merc that we found, and I believe it's a Denver. Let us double check. Yep, it is a Denver there. So 1919 Denver was the oldest one. And then the next one we found was in the 24s. Now this only had just under 7 million minted, and in most coins that would be pretty much a key date, which is interesting, but for the dimes, unfortunately, it's just worth a couple bucks. And last but not least, a really nice looking 1941. So in the Roosevelts, I looked up stuff, and pretty much every date is pretty darn common because they made so many. And what I'm going to be focusing on is looking at the 46s and hopefully finding a 46. I think it's Denver, double dyed reverse, but I'm going to look at all the 46s just in case I'm wrong. And if I find anything cool, I'll let you know. Ravenhawk Coins, stay tuned. All right, everybody, I'm back again, and now we have some highlights for the Rosies, mostly just ones that were toned or had some character. No double dye, unfortunately, but hey, still a lot of fun. So let's look under the scope and see what we have. This first one here is a 1947, and it looks pretty nice. It's got a good amount of toning on the reverse and the obverse. It's a San Francisco. And then we have a 1961. And I just think I like toning quite a bit. You know, it's one of those things where there's two fields or two sides of the coin, so to speak. This one has a lot of toning on it. Pretty cool. The coin's got some character. That chin looks a little funky on there, but hey, it's a Denver as well. And just like Merc dimes, there's a thing that's called a full torch. When you look at the back here, if this torch has all the lines, vertical and horizontal, going through the bottom there by the D and then up by the top, they actually get a designation and have a little bit more of a premium. It's a nice looking toned 64. There's a lot of toned ones in here. And I believe they all probably came out of the same tube together. This one's got a lot of character as another toned 64. We got a 61. Philly. A 1948 Philly with some nice toning. And then last but not least, another 64 that's got somebody's fingerprint where you can see it behind Roosevelt's head as part of the toning pattern. And the reverse looks really nice and clean. So that was probably in a folder for quite a while. That's how a lot of coins get toning on them, is they sit in a Whitman folder for a long time, and they end up getting exposed to certain elements in your house, you know, so it's kind of interesting to see how that happens. Now we're going to tackle the quarters and see what we find next. Matter of fact, why don't we just look through a couple here, and on here we're pretty much looking for anything that is going to be out of the ordinary. Again, another thing with the Washington quarters is most of the key dates are like the 32 D and S, which I highly doubt I'll see in this bucket because, you know, although this is random stuff in here, not every last coin is looked at, but for a majority, the shop tries to make sure that we look through things, that we're not missing anything, you know, that's could be of higher numismatic value. There's going to be a lot of 64s in the quarters. People really tended to hoard the quarters at that point in the 60s when they found out that uh, the way that we did our money being backed by gold and silver was going to change and end up being clad. So you find a lot of BU 64 quarters normally in junk silver, which is kind of nice to have a nicer coin per se, but the problem is they're not really worth as much. All right, I'm going to keep looking through these. Hopefully we find us some good stuff, and at the end, I'll show you the highlights. Ravenhawk Coins. Stay tuned. All right, everybody. On the Washington quarters, I should have mentioned some of the key dates that are actually nice finds. You got the 36D, the 36S, 37D, 37S. Some of the 34s aren't bad, and their way of mintage is pretty low, but their values aren't as high as you'd think. Also looking for the 34 double die, 1938, 38S, 39D, 39S, 42D double die verse, 43 double die verse, 43S double die verse. So there's a lot more in the key datage that I thought. In the 50s, you're looking for the 50D over S. A 1949 quarter has actually got a little bit more value to it. And then after that, the rest are all pretty common. But that's so that anybody that's saying, hey, Raven, you forgot to mention some of these dates, I wanted to touch on that. Ravenhawk Coins, I'll be back soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we got through the Washington quarters and we got ourselves some cool stuff to look at. Some really nice toned items. This one is a 1964. Really nice rainbow toning starting on there. And the obverse and the reverse both have some toning. The reverse has a nicer toning right there above America. So that's a cool find. And a 1958 with the same thing, some crescent toning going on really heavily on the back side of Washington's head. The reverse is got some toning as well. Kind of a neat find one way or another. I thought that was pretty cool. And then we have a number of 1934s. We've got that right there. That one's got a little bit of toning to it. It's a Philly. And another 34. And they're about as worn as you'd expect for a coin in the 30s. A lot of these quarters that would be in this year and older by a couple years for the 32s kind of look like this a lot. But that's it for the quarters. And now we're going to go through the half dollars. We'll look at the Kennedys, then the Franklins and the Walker. Or actually, we'll start with the Walkers. We'll do the Franklins and then the Kennedys. And we'll see what we find. Be back soon. Alright, so as we're looking through the Walkers, we're going to be looking for the early dates like the 16s, the 17s, and 18s, of course. Anything to basically 33S is a little bit nicer. If we find a 21 or a 21D, we're looking at some really nice coins that only have a mintage of 246,000 in 21, and 21D is 208,000. 21S is barely a $500,000, and up until 33 it's pretty good. And then a 38D is also a nice coin, and the rest for the most part are kind of common as far as their dates and their values. If you do find a 46 double die reverse, you're looking at some good money. So I will pull coins out that are, you know, in that kind of general area as far as the year and whatnot, and hopefully we find some of those, because that would be pretty cool. I'll be back. All right, everybody. So we got through the Walking Liberty half dollars, and we actually found a respectable amount of early dates and that have a decent value for what they are, especially if you're cherry picking through, you know, the 90% bin. Let's take a look. All right. So starting off, we have a number of 1917, second year. And one cool thing about, wow, I got some sunlight really coming through all of a sudden, don't I? Trying to get that to change for us a little. Unfortunately, There we go. 1917 Philly. Another 1917 San Francisco. And just in G4, these are $18 coins all day long. Another Philly. I think there's only one San Francisco in the lot, and there is a Philly. So 4 1917s, 3 1918s. We have a San Francisco. $19.18. Denver. $19.18. Philly. So that takes care of those. Then we have a number of 1920. That's a San Francisco. Another 1920 with a little bit of toning on it. San Francisco. Philadelphia. It's a little bit nicer 1920. That one's also a Philly. Here's one that's a little bit beat up, but still a 1920. And then our last 1920 in the group. Pretty darn cool. All right, now we have some 27s. That's San Francisco. And San Francisco. And then in the 28s, they should only be San Francisco. If you find a Denver or any other mint or no mint mark, they would be counterfeits. As you can see right there, that is a San Francisco mint mark right there. And that is a pretty cool find. Then our last ones of the walking libs are 1929s. Here's a San Francisco. Another Frisco, I think. Yep. And then I think these are Denver for the 29s here. Or maybe Philly. Nope, Denver. And the last find is another Denver. So very, very cool on the Walking Liberty half dollars to be able to find such cool stuff and a little stack of these. I'm sure my boss will be pretty happy to have these pulled out and set aside. And we'll add that to the finds. Now we're going to look through the bingies. And for the bingies, you know, it's kind of the same thing, or what you want to call Franklin halves. Some people don't like hearing them called bingies. With the Franklin halves, really the 49D, P, and S, and then the 52S, the 54S, and the 55 are the better dates. But for the most part, bingies, you know, they're pretty much run-of-the-mill coin. They don't have a lot of special dates to them, but, you know, they're still pretty cool. Hey, we found a proof. Oh, wait, I think that's the proof that I showed earlier. Anyways, all right, so I'm going to get through these and see what we find, and if we get anything good. Oh, we got a 49. Starting it off okay. It's a 49D. I apologize for the glare. The sun is really kicking my butt today for doing this search. There we go. We can. That's a 49S, but it's in pretty It's kind of rough shape, so I'm not really going to pull that aside as much of a find. We'll look at a couple more dates. We got a 63 Franklin, Denver. 1948. There we go. That's not too shabby. And it's a Philly. All right, we're going to keep looking and see. Hopefully we get something good. And we'll be back. Ravenhawk Coins, stay tuned. All right, everybody. So we got through the Benjis, and there's quite a few here to take a look at. Matter of fact, we got a number of 55s in the mix. Right there, 1955. And that's a Philly. 1955. Philly. Philly. And the nicest of the 55s is also a Philly. So we got 4 of those. And then a pile of 49s, my friends. Here we go. 49 San Francisco. 49 Denver. Another 49. This one's a little beat up though. Denver. We'll get those off the scope. 49 San Francisco. 49 Philly. 49 Denver. A really nice 49 right here as far as the 49s in this pile go. And that is a Philly. '49 Frisco. I think the shop got a lot of 49s in recently. Wow, that S looks interesting on that mint mark. Huh? Nope, just me. Just wishful looking. I was hoping we'd find some kind of repunch mint mark action going on there. This coin, you can see somebody put their fingerprint on it a long time ago. Dead center there. We got another 49 and San Francisco. This one's got some toning to it. 49 Denver. 49 San Francisco. 49 Denver. 2 more 49s left to go. 49 for Philly. And then 49 San Francisco. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 16 49s in here. 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep, 16 total 49s in the Franklin halves. So not too shabby. Now, as far as the 64s go, the only thing we're going to be looking for is on some of them that look like they're proofs. We're going to see if we can find an accented hair, which highly unlikely, but you never know. And then maybe some triple dyes or double dyes. There are some doubling actions going on in the coins. Matter of fact, now I found a better spot for the scope. So let's take a look at this live. And now the sun's not in it. I could have just moved that back earlier. So I do apologize, everybody, that happened. So we got a 64 Denver. Nothing, no doubling there. And it's on the obverse from what I remember. As far as the double / triple / quadruple dies that you can get in the 64. But I would be very, very, very surprised if we found one of those, to be honest. They're just kind of rare. But I have been told that because I haven't searched 64s the way I should have in the past, that I've given away some really nice ones over time. Here we go, is a 1964. I was told that I'd sent somebody a quadruple die, which I found that kind of weird that I didn't catch it. But you know, I don't. Here's the thing: you need to search every coin, and I obviously hadn't at that time. All right, I'm gonna get through these and see what is there, and then if not, we'll come back and wrap it up. Ravenhawk Coins, stay tuned. All right, everybody. So we got through the rest of the Kennedys, and there were no accented hairs, nothing too crazy, but we found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. A full roll of walkers that are great. 16 Franklin has, well, 20 Franklin has that were neat. We found the 40%er, a couple SLQs, a number of really nice toned coins. All these things I'll show to my boss, and even the Washington 82 proof commemorative half. Either way, a really cool fun find and search. And if you want to correspond, it's ravenhawkcoins@gmail.com. Our P.O. Box is 721-296, Norman, Oklahoma, 73070. Like always, please make sure to take care of one another, and we'll see you real soon. Ravenhawk Coins, have a great day.